honestly, a lot more nuance than I expected. Hey guys, so here to talk about probably one of the biggest movies of the year, Wicked, which for those who don't know, if you haven't been living under a rock or something like that, Wicked was a Broadway musical that was fucking everywhere of quite a few years back. I don't even remember how long ago now, and it's finally got turned into movie adaptation, which they stretched out into 2 movies for I want to say some reason, but we know the real reason is money. And that has been starring, okay, I'm going to look up the cast list early this time, so I'm not scrambling to do it later. But now thanks from the director of, God, who was, never mind, I'm going to find all this information in a second, guys. Bear with me. I really need to get in the habit of doing this before I roll the cameras. But the director is John M. Chu, who has directed, what has John M. Chu done? He did Wicked, he did In the Heights, which a movie I did not like, and Crazy Rich Asians, which I did like. So, kind of a mixed filmography there. But, I was not a fan of In the Heights, the movie. So it stars Cynthia Erivo as the future Wicked Witch, whose name is Elphaba. I know I'm not saying that right. And, of course, Ariana Grande, who plays Galinda, a.k.a. Glinda the Good Witch. So, this movie kind of serves as a supervillain origin story of sorts for the Wicked Witch of the original Wizard of Oz, and is a 2-hour and 40-minute musical. But I am gladly here to say that I actually like this quite a bit. For context, I didn't really have much knowledge of Wicked at all. I was not really big into it when it was a Broadway smash, and I think it still is a Broadway smash, but when it was like new and exciting, I wasn't one of the people that was kind of singing its praises. I just largely ignored it. I didn't have anything against it. It just was like, I just saw it and was like, okay, cool, that's neat. I just didn't really care much about it. So this is my first real exposure to any of it since its release. So a lot of it I did not know going into it. I did not know a lot of what it was going to be, what the themes were going to be, what the topics of the discussion were going to be. And I was pleasantly surprised that it did actually dive into some pretty deep and complex things. And for people out there, and I do not know how this happened, there's some people out there that seem to believe this movie isn't about race, which is incredibly dumb because it's very explicitly about race. Specifically, it's largely pulling from the initial desegregation efforts after Brown v. Board of Education, and kind of hostility around that. And people say like, oh, well, like, it's not actually about racism. Like, are you fucking blind? They literally have a character say, I don't see color within like the first 30 minutes of the movie. So the basic plot line of this is, the witch's parents, I'm gonna butcher the name, so I'm just gonna call her the witch. I know it's probably reductive based on the context of the story, but that's what I'm gonna go with. Was born green after, her mom had an affair with some guy, and she drank some green potions, somehow that made her turn green, and also gave her witch powers, and she's like the only person in the land that can do these magical powers outside of the witch in the school she goes to, which is basically like, I don't know, like Hogwarts, but with a more well-rounded education. That's kind of what I'm getting out of it. And in that school, there are talking animals who also represented a minority population that is slowly dwindling because the people in power have decided that they should be seen and not heard, which is something that's very explicitly said in the film itself, and also draws a lot of strong parallels to real life civil rights movements and actual suppression. So again, there's a lot of historical context in this film. There's even references to the Reconstruction era, like post-Civil War, which I was actually very impressed that this movie kind of went into that territory, and that it does actually really double down in that territory. And I think it's when I enjoyed the movie the most, is when it's kind of having those discussions. They got Peter Dinklage to voice this goat, which sounds ridiculous, but he plays it very dignified. He plays it very much as, like, he knows his people are kind of dwindling out, that they're being targeted, that they're being blamed, that they know they're probably not going to be around much longer because they are actively being suppressed. And then you later learn that it was intentional, which I guess goes slightly into spoiler territory, but if you can't figure it out pretty quickly, I'd get kind of shocked. But this whole time, the witch is kind of like, okay, well, if I can go see the wizard, then maybe he can fix things, and then I'll find my place finally, and I can be like the advisor to the throne kind of thing. And then when this goes into spoiler territory, so if you haven't seen it already, you probably already have, but if you haven't seen it already, go watch it first. So it's eventually revealed that the wizard actually, it was his idea to do that, specifically because they need someone to blame in order to unite people. She is very quickly disenfranchised by the whole thing and decides that she would rather live apart from society than a society that actively looks for people to discriminate against. It's a very powerful message. It's a very powerful stance to take, and really does paint the whole story of the Wicked Witch of Wizard of Oz in a whole different light. So it does this job very well. John Chu knows how to direct a musical. The musical language on film is fantastic. The choreography is fantastic. The set designs, the choreography, the camera movement, all of it plays very, very all well together to really understand how a musical should look and feel in film. Which is so funny comparing to the last musical I saw, which is Joker 2, and how much it did not understand how musical language works on film. So it's very nice to see a director who still knows how to fucking do that. The main crux of the relationship, the main core of the relationship, is the relationship between the witch and the Glenda, or Galinda. I'm not calling her that. Or played by Ariana Grande. And to Ariana Grande's credit, she fucking gives this role 110%. She is pulling out all the stops. She is fucking going for it, and I do heavily respect her for that. She is definitely giving this role everything she's got, and it shows. Both her and Cynthia Erivo play very well off each other, and their dynamic is very fascinating to watch. It was also interesting to see how Glinda's role in the film and in the narrative and the theme I was talking about before kind of play into it as the woman who befriends the person of color, but ultimately it goes turncoat whenever actual power is in play. She's seduced actually by the people that want to discriminate her, and she chose that complacency, that safety over actually making a stand for something, which unfortunately, that was a common thing. Still is a common thing. So I like that angle. I think it's good. I don't think this needs to be 2 hours and 40 minutes. I don't know how, again, I haven't seen the original Broadway play, so I don't know how much was added and how much wasn't. I'm willing to bet you could have cut off at least a solid 30 minutes of this and been totally fine. But apparently we got to make this 2 parts now because they want all the money. And based on the box office reports, they're going to get all the money. But I'm not going to waste my time talking about box office crap. All I can say is I was kind of just expecting kind of just a bland modern musical, and what I got was actually seemed like it was worth the hype. Again, this is a solid 8.5 for me. I had a really good, I had a good time with it. I was entertained by it. I was impressed by what it was trying to do. There's definitely things I don't like about it. Like I say, I do think it's padded out. I don't like some of the character archetypes they did. I'm getting a little tired of the gay suck up as a character trope. I think that I think that one needs to die. I think that one's overplayed too much, and I don't think it's really helpful. But who am I to say on that part? I would say I was probably least interested when it was focusing on the dresses and the clothes and being popular in the school dynamic and who's hot and who's not. And that's part of the play, and a lot of people like that stuff. So not saying that's bad. It's just not what I'm interested in. I'm interested in the social commentary and the historical context, which probably makes me the boring one of the group. But I also think that's exactly what elevates this beyond just a standard Broadway musical. So if that was added, then great. Then I'm all for that. I just kind of wish there was more of that and less popular. But again, I know that shit's popular for a reason. So I'm not here to shit anyone that likes that kind of stuff. It's just not what I personally look for in these kind of movies. So I think it's really all to say about Wicked. I am curious to see when the next one comes out. I think Jeff Goldblum is the perfect choice for this particular iteration of The Wizard. I think he did a very good job and using his natural charisma and his unique speaking patterns to really hype up this kind of the illusion of a country's father figure. And even though we all know it's a lie, we all know he's a charlatan, we all know that he's playing the game. And Michelle Yeoh is equally competent as the only other magic user actually in the movie, who does effortlessly flip between supportive and villainous at a moment's notice. So I think everyone did a phenomenal job here. I think this is a very good movie, and I'm curious to see what the second one provides. So that's all I have to say about Wicked. So I'm going to see maybe if I can record one more video before I'm done tonight. But in the meantime, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you all later. Bye.